and so let's get into it, right? So we are the advisory board, and what is the advisory board? So what we're going to talk about today is talking about the current AB. We're going to introduce the AB, many of whom are here today. We're going to talk about what we're doing. We're going to talk about some highlights from the past since we kind of revamped the AB, I would say, in middle of last year. And we're going to talk about something very important, which is the nominations for the coming AB elections and why everybody in this room should think about nominating somebody or think about who they could be nominating for the coming AB election. First of all, just to introduce the members of the AB. There's myself. I work for Samsung Open Source Group, and I am a co-chair along with Angel from W3C. We also have Wei from Huawei. We have Max, hopefully participating remotely from News Corp. Amy Vanderheel is our staff contact. We have Igrashi-san from Sony, Elena from Holopin. We have Tess from Apple, Ota-san from LY Corporation, Avnish from Daisy Consortium. We have Hide from the Dutch government, and we have Song from China Mobile, and late addition to the group, Brent from Yubico. I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that we have amazing support from Emma from W3C team, who plays such an important role actually in our work. So what is the AB? According to W3C process, the AB provides ongoing guidance to the team on issues of strategy, management, legal matters, process, and conflict resolution. This needs a little bit of an update, actually. And this is one of the things that we are working on because the AB is working on updating the process document because some of these functions have actually been subsumed by the board, which is, as we just heard, doing an awful lot of amazing stuff. Like for instance, legal matters is not so much the purview of the AB. We're certainly interested in legal issues, but it's much more a focus of the board at this point. So there's some update that needs to happen. My articulation of what the current kind of mission of the AB is to govern the how of what we do. And that means the technical work program that we are engaged in that produce what we do here, the work that we are here to do, producing specifications, producing other kinds of material that the work that W3C does, including ensuring that the process by which we produce that work remains fair, transparent, efficient, capable of supporting a diverse and evolving technical community. So that is kind of enshrined from the work that that the previous AB did on the excellent vision document, which talks about a lot of those values. So what are AB 2026 priorities? What have we been working on your behalf this year, or starting last year, but in this year? First of all, process refactoring and simplification. So taking a look at the process and saying, what can we do to simplify it? How can we make it easier to work with? Working on projects around incubation of new work. How do we make it easier to bring new work to W3C? Participation in team-led strategy task forces, that's a key priority for us. So all of us are participating in different strategy task forces with the team. We added a new idea to our work program this year, which is writing strategy position papers. Following on from the work of the vision and channeling some of the energy that we've had in the tag with tag findings, we thought it would be useful for the AB to be able to express its opinion on certain issues that are within its purview. And I'll talk about one of those that we've published in a second. And then finally, engaging with policy and regulatory is something that we feel strongly is part of how it's part of how many members of the AB function. A lot of us are engaged in policy and regulatory stuff anyway. So we're definitely, and we have a whole panel to talk about this topic later. So first of all, I wanted to, so for some highlights from this year, I wanted to talk about the publication of our AI position paper, which was developed and written by Hide and Elena. This is a paper, if you haven't read it, take a look at it. Just quoting from the abstract, it highlights considerations around different ways in which LLMs can be useful or problematic when it comes to our work at W3C. So this isn't about the web and AI, right, which is a whole nother topic. This is about AI, how AI impacts the way we do our work, the how. And you can take a look at the URL there. This is something that we released as a group note. But I think the key point, and maybe Hide can talk about it a little bit in a second, is people need to be responsible for their work. And that's really one of the things that we tried to communicate in this document. And more AB position papers are in the works. We did some W3C community engagement around process simplification. I think this was most visible in Kobe at TPAC, where AB members had a charm offensive with multiple working groups. We showed up in different working groups and asked them about process improvement. How could we improve the process to make your lives easier? There's an open poll that we just published on the question of AC reps versus consortium member reps. If you haven't had a chance to look at this poll and get your mind into this question, I think this would be a really useful thing for us to discuss today during the poll, if you have during this panel, if you have questions on this. And if you would have any questions on this topic, please come talk to us. This is something that we need to puzzle out. And finally, we've been changing the way that we do our work in embedding more agile process, including public summaries of our meetings, making our work and priorities more transparent to the wider community. When I say public, I'm talking about public. So we've been moving towards more transparency, to Igarashi's point. And that means publishing public summaries of our meetings in our public repo in order to provide transparency to the wider web community outside of these doors and outside of the member work. Of course, our minutes themselves are still member confidential. Yeah. Finally, we have an election coming up here, and there are 5 seats up for election. We're planning the election dates are that the nominations are from the 1st to the 29th of April. So we have roughly 9 days left. We have 5 seats available. We have exactly 1 person who has been nominated so far, me, because my seat is one of the ones that's up for election. So we badly need actually people to put themselves forward for this election, and I'm hoping that many of you in the room or online are considering this. So please consider also when you're putting somebody forward, or when you're thinking about putting somebody forward, please consider the diversity of candidates, because representation is such an important aspect of what we do. We want the AB to reflect the diversity of the consortium and the diversity of the wider web community. And we also need to bring new perspectives and approaches into the AB. So finally, we're the AB, we're here to help. We're all wearing these pins, so you can find us more easily. With that, I'm going to open it up to questions or comments, or if anybody would like to come to the queue, you're certainly welcome to do so.